What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and honey, I am back in the building. This time, honey, I'm back with a Love and Marriage Huntsville Extra. A couple of you guys were very confused about YouTuber Mr. R.C. Blake's and his definition of a side chick being a slave. He actually has a video where he explains that, why a lot of women suffer from female broken consciousness and slave conditioning. Okay, so without further ado, you guys, I'm going to play that audio for you guys, and I will be in and out with my commentary.
I did not put it in the title because the algorithm, the computers at YouTube might flag the video, not understanding what it's about. But the term that I use in my books is female slave conditioning. And usually when I use that term for the first time with an audience, people are kind of taken back because maybe they've never heard it put in those terms. But female slave conditioning is what happens to pretty much every little girl that grows up in the United States of America on some level. If she has a present and healthy father, he may protect her from it and cover her. But society, from the birth of the little girl, society intends to precondition the little girl to be manipulated and controlled by men. This happens in education, religion, entertainment. Every sphere, the little girl is conditioned to believe a few things: that she's conditioned to believe that she's less than her male counterparts. And she's also conditioned to believe that her only value in life, or her main value in life, is her relational status. And so this little girl grows up believing that she believes that she's less than men. She believes that the only way she can be worth something in this world is to have a certain kind of relationship with men. And because she's conditioned to that, male society, watch this, teaches the little boys how to manipulate that indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
And so the little girl grows, she's educated, she's successful,
mm-hmm.
and yet she can't seem to wrap her arms around a serious or healthy relationship with men. And she grows into what I always describe as the PhD woman manipulated by the GED man, and she does not know why. She does not realize that she was set up for these failures.
Mm-hmm.
And so I call this female slave conditioning. And much of what I do with this book and the one that came before it, the Father-Daughter Talk, is to dismantle. What I do is I dismantle the lies and the false philosophies that women have that keep them subjugated and limited in terms of what they can accomplish in life. And this female slave conditioning, I think the greatest impact is that it continues to, or it perpetuates a queen of a woman submitting to a clown of a man.
And we saw that, honey, with Melody and Martell. And it's very funny that he talked about how the woman is a PhD woman and the man is a GED type of man. And I see that in Melody and Martell. Okay, because she was way too smart for him. I think we all realize that.
Now, if you look in 2 Timothy 3, verses 6 and 7, and I'm reading from the Amplified. Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate you. It says, "For among them are those who worm their way into homes and captivate morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women, weighed down by the burden of their sins, easily swayed by various impulses, always learning and listening to anybody who will teach them, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth." Now, 2 Timothy 3, 6, and 7, I believe, describes the condition of female slave conditioning. I don't think it gets any better than that. Let me read it again. "For among them are those who worm their way into homes," talking about unscrupulous men, "and captivate morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women weighed down by the burden of their sins, easily swayed by various impulses, always learning and listening to anybody who will teach them, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth." You know all of the principles, you know all of the lessons, but you're never able to actualize it. Now, but he uses a term here. He says, "For among them are those who worm their way into homes and captivate," or take captive, morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women. This captivity that perverted male society exacts upon male slave conditioned women. This captivity is facilitated through guilt and shame. A perverted male society takes a woman and makes her feel two things to manipulate her with: guilt and shame. Now, the same society that sets the woman up for the moral failures, the same society that sets the woman up for the moral failures, is the same society that comes back and points its finger at the woman and raises guilt consciousness and shame consciousness, because guilt and shame are like steering wheels to the soul. Once
they are cousins, honey, okay?
I can make you feel guilty, I can steer your life in any direction that I desire.
Okay, so let's just take a clip of that being played out on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And we didn't heard it all before, but it fits in right here. So let me play that.
When I first started cheating, I think that's what you're talking about.
Of course you know.
You wasn't doing what you were supposed to do.
And what was that?
I call you. You didn't have time to talk to me, so what were you doing?
What was I doing?
I always complain. So I'm like, "Hey, why you can't talk to me? I don't got time. I ain't got time."
I'm out of this meeting.
Me too. I had meetings. It doesn't matter. It's about having time for your spouse.
You pushed me. You got me more involved, doing more with the company, with the community, with everything else. And it was a setup for the okie doke. Because there's no way
you
I can
have
talk
so
to
many
you all the
friends.
time.
That is no male. Stop doing certain things. Sexual?
Hey, what about sexual? What did
You wouldn't satisfy me.
How?
Now y'all hear him guilting and shaming her into not pleasing him, which he began to, just play up on her emotions. He began to play up on all the love that he knew she had for him. So, that is why, he says he got with coleslaw. And I actually saw him on an interview. I'm going to try to look that interview up. But he actually told the interviewer, once I got my side chick, Melody began fulfilling all of my fantasies. So he wanted to pit those two women against each other so that they both could please him. Okay, that is how messed up and perverted his mind is.
But period.
I wasn't satisfying you sexually?
No.
Did you ever talk to me about that? You never said to me, "You're not satisfying me."
When we're in the bed, I'm saying, "Babe, you ain't gonna do this for me?" No. You ain't gonna do that for... No. What you think that is?
Okay.
That's disappointment.
Okay.
To your husband to tell him no for anything.
And does that open the door for you to be able to step out and do what you want to do?
Of course.
Okay.
You hear that? Of course. Okay. One-sided. It's okay for me to step out. and do what I do, and you're just supposed to deal with it. But you can't step out, and that is how a lot of these perverted males think. This is exactly what R.C. Blakes is talking about.
Okay, so all those years when there were certain things I was telling you that I wanted you to experience more sexually and do more, and you didn't want to, should I have just stepped out?
Melody didn't step out, okay? She still was faithful to her husband, even though he was not fulfilling her sexual needs and desires, okay? And this is what I'm talking about with you ladies that insist on giving more than what you are getting. You cannot do that. Okay? You cannot play into that. That's what they want you to do. They want the relationship to be all about you pleasing them, and that in itself makes you a damn slave, because you sitting up here trying to please that man. What about that man pleasing you? Okay, and I'm pretty sure if she would have stepped out and got those needs met somewhere else, he would have had a fit. He having a fit after the divorce. Okay, make that make sense. She ain't even with you no more, and you out here clowning and acting a fool. So we know he would have acted a fool within the marriage.
Just
I
ask.
can't recall that.
See, look, no explanation for that. Okay? He can't recall her needs and her desires not being met. He only hears himself, okay? He only cares about what he wants.
Of course, you never can recall what you don't want to recall.
What, talk freaky? Okay, I don't want to talk freaky.
Yeah, you don't want that, so you open up that door. You have to learn and know the trophy that you have.
Okay,
When
but
you
the
have a
trophy ain't
woman-
being a complete trophy if she's not taking care of her husband.
You got somebody who can talk to you all the time, who's cooking for you, who's satisfying you sexually. Why don't you take your ass on and be with her?
I don't want to.
Well, that's a damn shame.
You know what that's called?
What?
Feeling that void. She felt that void.
Well, it sounds like you think you may just need two women.
Well, back in the day, in the Bible days, whatever, they had multiple women, so why not?
And he brings the Bible into it. Okay.
Great downfalls of religion is that religious leaders have sought to use religion to produce guilt and shame, to manipulate and to control rather than to free and to empower. His words are pure. So much I appreciate you. Now, so this is intentional. I want you to hear what I'm saying. This is intentional. That the woman is set up from a little girl to have a subconscious mindset to be manipulated by a perverted male society. And what happens is the main agenda and I call this woman, when a woman has been slave conditioned to a perverted male society, I call this state broken consciousness. And when a woman has broken consciousness, her main agenda is a relationship with a man. That's her main agenda. Not that there's anything wrong with that. God made the woman for the man. God made man for woman. The two go together. They do. But when you are so consumed with, a relationship with a man, you become a slave to a society that manages your thirst. If you look in Isaiah 4:1, listen to this very carefully. It says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. They're saying, you ain't got to financially provide for us. You don't have to do nothing for us. All we want you to do is just take us in. Let us have your name. Watch this. To take away our reproach. Because these women, this generation of women, was conditioned to believe that if I have a husband, I am a disgrace. And then they were conditioned to believe, if I have a husband and don't have a child, I'm a disgrace. And then they were conditioned to believe, if I have a husband, have a child, but never have a son for him, I'm a disgrace. You see how the consciousness has been warped to be manipulated and managed? And the sad reality is that women today, in what some say is the most progressive age, are not far off from this same kind of psychology. Where did they get this idea that if I don't have a man, it's a reproach? Society did that. Society gave them this idea that somehow you are broken and somehow you are inferior because you don't have a man. So they say.
And Arionne had to mess with somebody else's husband, and she is out here bragging about it. But that lets you know how messed up some of these women's minds are, where they are willing to settle for a piece of a man just to say they have a man. That is what he's talking about. That's the broken consciousness. That's how messed up and sick her mind is. Okay?
You ain't got to do nothing for us. Just give us your name. Have sex with us and give us your name so that you can take away our reproach. And how many women today are running behind men because you feel like it's a reproach to be 35, 40, or 50 and not have a man, or 60 and not have a man? You feel like it's a disgrace for you to be of a certain age. Sally McEwen, thank you. I listen to you every day and have grown so much since I first found you at the end of last year. Thank you. I consider you and Lisa as my pastors. Thank you so much. That means the world to us, Sally. Now, let me read this. A part of the penalty, you go back into Genesis and you look at Adam and Eve, because here's the question. Women quite often want to know, why is it that you have such a desire for the man in your life, and you can rarely, if ever, get a man to have the same kind of attraction towards you? Why is it that you give it everything you got, and you seem to always end up with men that rarely give anything? Well, when you go back into the book of Genesis, Tamar, thank you so much. I appreciate you. A part of the penalty for Eve's participation in Adam's disobedience, when God said, don't touch this particular tree, and Eve brought stuff to Adam and kind of talked him into it, a part of the penalty for her participation in Adam's disobedience was that God gave Eve, woman, watch this, a desire to please her man. And then God simultaneously gave the man a desire to manipulate the woman. So all of this was a part of the what? Curse. This was a part of, thank you, Angela. Pastor Blake, you are always an inspiration to me. Thanks for being you. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. That was a part of the curse. Let me read it for you. In Genesis 3:16, it says, he told the woman, I'll multiply your pains in childbirth. I'll multiply your pains in childbirth. You will give birth to your babies in pain. You want to please your husband, but he'll lord it over you. So there you have it.
And you see all of that with Melody and Martell as well. Kept popping out those kids for him. He steady dogging her, cheating on her, disrespecting her. Okay?
When you look at this strange dynamic between woman and man, why is it that the woman bends over backwards? Why is it that the woman is self-sacrificing and the man is manipulative and controlling and abusive? It's because you go back to the original fall of mankind, this is the broken consciousness of men and women at work and at warfare one against the other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does this happen? How does society condition the woman for manipulation? Number one, if you're writing, write this down. If you're not, you need to get something to write with. Number one, there's a constant indoctrination intended to miseducate and misdirect the woman from a little girl. Constant indoctrination intended to miseducate and misdirect the woman from a little girl. If you look in Romans, what happens is with a perverted generation of man, they change the truth into a lie, and it brings society to a place where we call the truth a lie and we call lies truth.
That's right.
And so this begins to happen when society constantly indoctrinates and miseducates the woman and misdirects the woman to believe a few things, to believe that she's a sexual object.
Coleslaw.
And you'd be amazed at how many women actually believe that you're purely sexual.
Mm-hmm.
You don't give yourself credit for being intellectual. You don't give yourself credit for being spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see yourself as one ordained by God to dominate. You just see yourself as a sexual object. And the reason I know that's the way you see yourself is because that's the way you package yourself.
Come on.
Little girls, again, are preconditioned for domination. Now, watch this. This indoctrination centers around, listen to this very carefully. We say that it starts with how's the woman conditioned for manipulation. It starts with constant indoctrination intended to miseducate the woman. And this indoctrination centers around false societal standards of beauty and value. And these false societal standards of beauty and value become the lifelong pursuit of the broken woman. She's in pursuit of something, watch this, other than herself and hatred for her authentic self. Do you think that it is only that way when we live in sin and turn away from Christ? Because this is the ways of the world. But if you live in Christ, then this can change, or absolutely can change. That's why, see, truth trumps lies. That's why I'm here teaching tonight. The Bible says be transformed by the renewing of your mind, you see. But where religion has failed us, Roshalyn, did I say it right? Roshalyn, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Seeking his face, thank you. You are the Father I never had. God bless you. Please pray for me. I will certainly do that. So absolutely it can change. But let me read this again. This indoctrination centers around false societal standards of beauty and value that become a lifelong pursuit of something other than the woman herself, and even a hatred for her authentic self. So what happens is society says to the black woman, you need to be lighter, you need to be thinner.
Mm-hmm.
And so the black woman spends her time trying to bleach, trying to run on the treadmill. Then society says to the white woman, you're too white. You need to get a tanning booth, and you need to darken your skin.
Mm-hmm.
You need to put something in your hair to make your hair curlier.
Mm-hmm.
A black woman is trying to make her hair straighter.
You see it all the time with the Kardashians. They're not white. They're Armenian. Hell, close enough. You see them really trying to imitate how, black women look. They want the biracial children to look as black as possible, so, yeah.
The white woman's trying to make her hair curlier. The black woman's trying to get skinny. The white woman's at the plastic surgeon getting implants, trying to get hips and And so you see it's madness. It's because this indoctrination centers around false societal standards of beauty and value that become a lifelong pursuit of something other than yourself.
Wow.
And ultimately turns into a hatred for you
Mm-hmm.
and how God made you.
That's right. And we got Arionne Curry over there bragging about how, she about to get this new show on Bravo, and it's gonna be about what? You being a side chick? Like, girl, that's not cute. That's not hot. But that's the broken female consciousness she has. Okay? That's exactly what it is.
I'm just a little scared. Like, this attention is too much. I never got no attention like this, and people be coming for me. And there's a lot of people that support me, but at the end of the day, I still feel like this is a very private matter that happens behind closed doors. That it's like, even though this happens every day, this is like aired out for the whole world to see, and it's only one side out here, a side of a bunch of bullshit. And it's like my friend has Facebook, and she tells me that anything that I say, they try to make it seem like I'm bitter. So it's like, do I even say anything anymore? Because is it going to make it seem like I'm bitter? Because I'm not bitter. Like, me and Martell don't talk right now because I don't want to talk to Martell, not because Martell doesn't want to talk to me. Like, so I just don't know what to do about the situation. It's we're moving into 2020. Like, just put it behind me, move forward, don't speak on it, or do I say something and it's going to be an ongoing thing? I really think that he wanted to tell the world that sometimes marriages fall apart. I really feel like, but he wants to be a man and be there for his family. He ain't going nowhere. Yeah, we was just together. Probably like the second week of December. Literally, we was just together. He told me to, like, Arionne, please, this was our last conversation. Me telling him, I'm not fucking with you no more. He's like, Arionne, please just give me like a couple weeks, like, please. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what you wait for her to have that baby and leave your ass? Like, no, I'm not thinking about what y'all got going on. I don't know what you like. No, I'm not about to. I'm not doing this no more. Like, and I've literally cut all contact with him. Like, he don't have. I've changed my phone number. He doesn't have my phone number. He has not tried to reach out to me on Instagram, but he is blocked. But he has not created a fake page. Like, that's what he told me last time we talked. He said, well, I'll always find you. I said, I'm about to change my phone number. We met in 2015. We were at idea, but y'all know, because when you got a nigga chasing for 5 years, no idea, but y'all know, because when you got a nigga chasing for 5 years.
Y'all hear that shit?
All right, you guys, that's all Miss Robinson got to say about all of this. Y'all heard, Miss Arionne Curry bragging. I played the clip where, she was, I cut Martell off, and, Martell wants to talk to me. I don't want to talk to him. Ended up going back to him and having a baby. Okay, some of y'all got in the comments saying she was in control of all of this. No, she is messed up in her head. She is female slave conditioned. That's why she returned back to him. See, she keep trying to put out this narrative that Martell wants her. He chased her, but your ass kept going back. You kept going back because you messed up in your head over this man, over the sex of it all, over destroying his marriage. You are competing with his wife. Like, you got a lot of internal issues, okay? So hopefully you all was able to receive the message when it came to all of this, honey, okay? So don't forget, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. I am your girl, Brand New, and I will check you guys out in the next video.